all otherwise indisposed. Mr. Mayor, Speakman is attending...
Not to worry, our shorthand writer has arrived. Or has this lovely lady come to make us tea?
Mrs. Beatrice Draper, Greenwich Board of Guardians, pleased to make your acquaintance.
No relation to Councillor Draper, the socialist milkman.
I am the socialist one.
Mrs. Draper is on the tribunal list.
And she has willingly answered the call to offer her services. Now, what is the procedure and protocol? Are these the papers to read?
The business needs to be quick. We turn our cases around in 6 minutes. Schultz here will summarize the application in less than 1 minute. Do you think you'll be able to keep up? Applicant and questioning in less than 5?
Sounds like you've been successfully manufacturing speedy, conscientious objector trials.
That's why we have these sand glasses. A 1-minute glass and a 5-minute one. We're vying with the tribunal and Battersea. They have the record. 50 5-minute hearings within 1 sitting. Shall we begin?
Ah, the absolutist from Brockley.
Mr. Albrow is a conscientious objector. He is also a socialist, a moralist, and a member of the Church of England, although he is opposed to the Church's doctrine on the justice of war. He is employed at the local post office branch in the role of sorting clerk.
What would you do if, say, a German postal clerk were to rape your mother?
Oh, goodness gracious me. I should trust in God.
And send for a policeman.
No, sir, I don't think so.
You say in your statement that you used to be in the Church of England, but no longer agree with its Christianity. Isn't that a contradiction?
Oh, yes, it is, but such is the way of life in God's world, is it not?
Does your body belong to God?
I still believe that it does. And so I cannot connect it with any military system.
But that is contrary to the teaching of the Bible.
Not the version I've read and understood.
Mr. Albrow, as a socialist and a Christian myself, surely Jesus Christ would have been content to serve in a non-combatant unit.
You cannot be in honour of life and wear the uniform of an institution whose sole purpose is to kill. In the eyes of God, you're either a soldier or you're not.
Suppose an unfortunate man had been wounded on the battlefield. Would you be willing to carry him to hospital?
I would willingly help any man, but I could not conscientiously do so whilst connecting myself with a military system. Whatever you or your tribunal might say, nothing can alter God's law. Thou shalt not kill.
God's law be done, man! Go and fight!
I will not. Thank you very much.
What if a German rushed at you with a fixed bayonet?
I don't think I'd know what to do.
What kind of man would allow a German to rape his mother? Are you really that kind of man?
I would gladly receive a bayonet instead of her, or my wife, or my child, or even you, sir. But under no circumstances would I take a life to save a life.
The point is in the implication of your beliefs. If the only way to save your mother were to kill a German, would you still let him kill her?
Yes. If I could not persuade him otherwise with argument or the expenditure of my own life.
You ought to be shot.
If necessary.
Just how far does this go? If a man came and violated your sister, would you not give evidence against him?
Undoubtedly, unless it led to that man being hanged or executed by firing squad.
So if the crime carried the capital penalty, you would not tell the magistrates here what you saw?
That would have to be my position, yes.
If you not exert yourself to defend women and children from being murdered, then I think you're just as responsible for the lives of those women and children as if you'd taken the lives yourself.
Hear, hear.
It's not the same thing.
Supposing the government found you a place on a minesweeper, that would be saving lives.
Minesweepers are only allowed to sweep the German mines. They're not allowed to sweep the English mines.
Continually sweeping Germany's mines might stop the sinking of 2 boatloads of children on Sunday.
And other mines will be laid to sink other ships. This is all a plot to enslave the working classes and allow our bellicose and corrupt leaders to use us all as cannon fodder in their evil game of war that has nothing to do with God or Jesus Christ. Mrs. Draper, you say you're a socialist, a Christian, but you betray your people by sitting on that tribunal and judging my religious and political conscience. You are a political hypocrite. How can you be part of this sham?
This is the coming together of our country, Allbrow, not hypocrisy. I prefer a socialist with a gun and bayonet any day to a lily-livered conchi waving a white flag to the enemy.
The war against the Kaiser's regime is as much a war for the Labour people and socialists as it is for the liberals and conservatives. Are we not fighting for the refugees, old men, women and children who were massacred?
The first thing that suffers in war is truth. But every man is my brother, including the Boche. There are men in Fleet Street right now concocting vile lies about the Germans. And you know it. It is to their lasting shame, especially since many of them have never seen the German or the trenches. Might I remind the tribunal there is a biblical quotation. Put up your sword. Those who use the sword perish by the sword. Today, the conscientious objectors, although numbering many thousands in this country, are still a minority. That will not always be the case. Our beliefs are shared by men of all nations. And one day the civilized world will look back on the objectors to the great European war as the only sane people of their time. Meanwhile, those professed Christians who traded their faith for popularity will be remembered as having sold their souls to the devil.
These tribunal proceedings are to be adjourned for the time being. There's been a telegram for Mrs. Draper from the War Office. Open the curtains and let some light in. Wait outside, sir. close the curtains, please.
Orbrow, I've been reading your statement, and I find your conceit astonishing.
Well, I was striving for sincerity, not conceit.
Your struggle here is an achievement of the latter and not the former.
I do wish to express
Your sheer excess of pride?
I wanted to offer you my condolences.
Accepted. But what troubles me, Mr. Orbrow, is the flight of fancy in your claim for absolute exemption.
It does not trouble me.
More's the pity.
You pity me, then?
And despise you. This is all pretension, this double game you're playing. So the state commands you come here, and you obey. What for? To grandstand? To play upon the stage for Henry Rivet Allbrow? And then you presume to defy us and the state that is your sovereign country, your people who employ you, who feed you, who protect you. This indulgence disgusts me.
I do not mean to disgust anyone. Especially you, madam.
Yet you dare to call me a hypocrite. So the state is your master and protector, and at the same time, when it suits your pleasure, and your own inner cowardice, you claim the voice of God, which can speak, or does speak to those who listen. What a delightful convenience.
I can assure you.
You can assure me of what? That your Christianity is superior to mine? That you're a better socialist than I am? How dare you?
Christ's love of all mankind transcends everything.
Christ's love of everyone is not the singular vanity that is you, Mr. Orbrow, although I must say it does need to transcend your own self-regard and forgive your insufferable blindness.
War cannot be reconciled with Christ's gospel of love.
I grant you that for 200 years after Christ's death, Christians would not and could not be made to take up arms, and they were hated and despised for that selfishness. When Constantine reconciled the church and state, it was then the Christians could follow the true gospel, because they could fight for the love of Christ. The love of Christ is receiving and giving that which we hold dearest. Where is the sacrifice in your gospel of love? I know mine, and as a woman created to carry life, I now carry death in the very core of my being. The love of Christ means that I am reconciled with the war against evil. When you fight evil, it consumes and destroys as much as it liberates and protects all that is good in this world. That is the sacrifice, the price we have to pay as Christians. And that is so much more noble than the self-exaltation of you. A pathetic man. A pathetic man who is always saying no. It is absolutely no with you, isn't it? No is nothing. I look at you and I see nothing. That is what you are. The foul and despicable taste of absolutist nothingness. Behold the eye, your narcissism.
I'm so sorry.
Perhaps we should proceed to judgment.
Perhaps we should. There's nothing more to be said. Decision of the Deptford Military Tribunal, 18th of August 1916. Henry Rivet Albrow. Application for exemption under the Military Service Act 1916. Application for conscientious objector status refused.